Hey guys, so patch 1.1.1 is now live on Destiny servers. This was the big weapon balance patch. We'll brush over the changes for the weapons, but for a more detailed look at the weapon changes, check out my patch preview video linked here. The patch notes for patch 1.1.1 can be found in the description. So we might as well start with the weapon changes, the big things being that pulse rifles got a 9.7% damage buff, and that shotguns got a 100% damage buff versus non-guardian enemies. Other changes include auto rifles getting a 2.5% nerf across the board, hand cannons got a nerf to their long range and accuracy, fusion rifles now have a wider spread of lasers, shotguns again got their range nerfed, having their damage fall off much faster, and fusion rifles and shotguns had their starting ammo reduced in PvP. I got to play a little bit with the pulse rifles in PvP post-patch, and they definitely seem better. A 10% damage increase is only a couple of damage per shot, but it really did make a difference. Praedyth's timepiece is a machine. Red Death can kill a target in 2 bursts if both bursts hit the target's head, but that's a little tough to make happen. Overall, pulse rifles, I think, are now at least capable of being usable in the Crucible, as opposed to being kind of the weak versions that they used to be. I really only noticed the hand cannon nerfs at incredibly long ranges, which was the entire point of the nerf, but close and mid-range damage and accuracy is basically unchanged, which is good. Shotguns, I haven't noticed too much of a nerf. It's definitely there, but it's not that bad. Haven't been able to test the shotgun buff in PvE too much, but from what I did test and from what I've been hearing, people are really liking it. I'll need a little more time to test them out in the raid before I give final thoughts on the buff, but I'm looking forward to testing it out. Feel free to comment on how you're liking the buffs. I assume you're liking them a lot. Moving on to the more general changes and fixes, first off is the infamous heavy ammo bug. If you wore armor that increased your heavy ammo capacity and you died while holding heavy ammo, you'd lose a lot of it. This is a bug no longer. You should no longer lose heavy ammo when you die in PvE. Next is with regards to armor-piercing rounds. This effect has been reduced across the board. I assume this change was to prevent snipers from sniping people through 5 feet of concrete during the Crucible, which I am totally fine with. There now appears to be a damage drop-off when penetrating through walls. The shoot to loot perk on weapons has been given a 2-second cooldown to prevent people from shooting the same ammo pack multiple times in a row to max out their ammo. Full auto should now work properly on all weapons. The problem used to be that sometimes full auto fire would just completely stop. Some more minor things are, Song of Iriut now shows the correct magazine size, Darkbreaker perks work correctly on Shriekers, Snap Discharge, aka increased melee attack speed, should be working properly again, the Thunderer perk now has priority on the 4th Horseman shotgun, and items in the PS3 and 360 demos of the game used the wrong power values. That has been fixed. Speaking of the 4th Horseman, it got some major stat changes that were not documented in the patch notes. It is no longer a moderate rate of fire, moderate impact shotgun with high stability. It is now a low rate of fire, really high impact shotgun with kinda crappy range. Here's what it looks like versus Fellwinter's Lie. Keep in mind that the 4th Horseman does fire much faster than Fellwinter's. Moving to the PvP changes, the biggest change here is probably the fact that heavy ammo no longer drops from enemy players when you kill them if they had it. The reasoning behind this change, according to Lars Bakken, one of the lead PvP designers, is that, quote, heavy should be in quick, short bursts. Previously, it stuck around too long when it dropped on death. I can definitely agree with this. Sometimes it felt like heavy ammo was sticking around long enough for the next heavy ammo spawn to come around. Good change, in my opinion. Other changes include, players now unlock the entire Crucible playlist when they unlock Crucible, a new notification was added when new playlists show up, Crucible maps are less likely to repeat for full groups, completed matches will now award gear with proper power values, and a bug was fixed where a sound did not play for the bullet that kills a player. All in all, very good, no complaints from me. Next up, the weekly Heroic Strike now has matchmaking. You'll be able to queue up for the weekly Heroic and you'll be matched with other players. You could still do it with a full group, but this does mean that you will not be able to solo it anymore. While I'm fine with the matchmaking, I think having the option to do whatever you want would be best. Also, those in full groups running Vanguard strikes will be less likely to repeat the same strike. Other big changes in the patch include the new Reputation UI pane. This can be accessed in your inventory screen and shows all of your reputation levels. Very, very nice quality of life addition. Next, Xur sometimes did not bring an engram with him. This has been fixed. Ammo consumables will now work if used when player inventory is full, and an issue was fixed where Tess wasn't giving out the Tumbler Sparrow to qualified players who deleted their old characters. Finally, Grimoire also has a bunch of fixes, nothing too big, just a lot of fixing of their distribution and score levels. Overall, I'm very happy with this patch. Really like the changes. You're not going to find many complaints out of me. Pulse rifles needed a buff, they got a buff. Shotguns needed a PvE buff, they got it. I'm personally very happy about the heavy ammo changes in PvP, and the Reputation UI panel is a nice quality of life addition. Very, very solid patch. Anyway guys, those are your patch notes for patch 1.1.1. Feel free to note any hidden changes that you might have found in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.